Hello, my friends, and welcome to a new episode of The Power of Surrender with Hugh, where every day we take a card from the deck, The Power of Surrender cards by Dr Judith Orloff, and we discuss a card every day for your inspiration and food for thought in these challenging times we're living in. And as I'm recording for you tonight, I don't know if you can hear it, I'm here on the 6th floor of my apartment. And it's raining and very windy. I don't know if you can hear it, but it's so strange to be up this high with all that stuff going on. But the show must go on. And so the card we're doing today is Surrender to Effortlessness. Now this is such an interesting card. There is a misconception about working hard. People think you can't get anything in life without working hard. There is some truth in that. You do have to work and put in some graft to learn any skill or to make a living. However, there is a misconception that you have to work yourself to the bone in order to get results. Surrender to effortlessness is like surrendering to the universe, is allowing things to flow through you, is allowing things to unfold in a way that they will do naturally. I'm going to read the card to you and explain this to you a little bit more. So it says, let me put it over here. It says, stop pushing so hard. The art of living means going with the flow instead of trying to force the river. Now, I always talk about my acting coach. He's such a fantastic man and such a great inspiration in my life. But he would say, it's like trying to force a square peg into a round hole. So, sometimes just ease back. People want to floor the accelerator, and when they need to just ease off. Do you know what I mean? Just be cool, chill. Stop trying to force things to happen. Because unfortunately, when we get into this, it's going to happen now, and what we're doing is we're literally tensing, getting all this tension. We were talking about this in another card there recently with anger and frustration, and we literally lock ourselves up in this ridiculous tight energy. And this is when people say the things like going with the flow, man, just chill, man, just be. I understand that it's easy to make fun of that and think it's just some kind of something that people just say, but it really, really isn't. I've been amazed how you can turn things around in your life, make things happen in a way that's so unusual. By actually, it's the shift that you make in your mind and the way you think about what's happening. I've often used the example of what occurred for me when I was struggling for work here, and I was a couple of weeks over with my rent. And the shift that occurred, that all of a sudden more work started coming in, it was not a shift in terms of I made 500 phone calls or walked around for 20 miles, although I've done those things too and got results from that as well. But it was actually making the switch in my mind and trusting that the universe had my back. And it was actually me relaxing, letting go and trusting that the universe has a flow, has energy to it, is moving in a certain direction. Out of the blue, I got this phone call from a guy offering me to go and work as an actor working in a restaurant for a kind of a special situation that they had there, where it was actually we were defeated. It's a detective agency, and so you're playing the role of a detective, and when people come into the restaurant, they sit down and talk with you before they go in. So again, that came out of nowhere. A couple of weeks later, I got the job in RSVP, which is not far from where I'm living now, a job that has continued going all the way through the COVID lockdown. So I didn't get all those things from kicking and screaming. Of course, I made phone calls and did what I had to do, but at the end of the day, those things came together, not because I was going around all tight and terrified and scared, but because I actually was being cool and finding solutions. And allowing solutions to flow to me and come to me as well. I'm going to read this again because it's so important, especially after what I've just been saying. Again, it says, stop pushing so hard. It's like, oh, I've got to do it now. And it's just the art of living. And it's so important to say the art of living means going with the flow instead of trying to force the river. And it's like, when you think about it, right, if you're going upstream, it's like you're pushing against the current. If you're going downstream, you're just going with the flow. It is extraordinary the things that will happen when you do this, when you just let go and stop trying to push so hard to make it happen. You have to let it happen as opposed to make it happen. Again, a very subtle distinction, but a very, very powerful one. And again, I'm not coming out here saying that you shouldn't work, that no work is involved, but inspired action is the difference between just doing it for the sake of it and inspired action. And inspired action will come from letting go and going with the flow. Those ideas will come to you and those opportunities will come to you. You just have to try and, because when you take all that energy out, think about it, if you're at this, let's say you're at 100 FM, do you know what I mean? But when you let go of all that, you drop down to 70 FM. Do you know what I mean? You're broadcasting at a different frequency that allows these things to come in. If you're 100 and you're tight, you're not going to get anything else except what's at 100 degrees frequency. But when you drop down to that, I'm good. I trust the universe. It's got my back. I'm just going to be cool here and do what I have to do, take inspired action, but trust that the other opportunities and will come to me naturally. We keep talking about it over and over in different episodes. Go with the flow, go downstream, not going upstream, pushing against. It's the same message over and over again. It's why I love these cards, because we're surrendering to, there's universal laws that are flowing all around us. Love is the energy of the universe. Karma, what goes around comes around. These are all universal laws. But one of these universal laws is to go with the flow, let things happen, trust in the universe. And by going with this, what you're doing is you're relaxing your frequency to allow yourself to be in a frequency where you're attracting in more of the things that you want. Very, very interesting and lots of food for thought there for you. I hope you got some inspiration from this card. And I will be back again tomorrow for another episode. Have a wonderful rest of your day.